What's going on, everybody? Let me get my mic here straightened out. Dr. Thompson here with Exemplify Health Center, your Wellness Way affiliate right here in Yorkville, Illinois. Happy Monday evening. I'm going a little bit late tonight. In fact, just finished up with 5 consultations right after I got done adjusting people. So, been a long day. And just as an FYI, right now, if you guys saw a lot of the stuff that we had put on about the Man Up event, that took place on Saturday. So we ended up having like 15 people register. We had like 22 people end up showing up, and I think 19 or 20 of them are going through our 4 weeks for men, helping to increase their testosterone, helping to improve their some of their biomarkers. And so a lot of them were surprised when I said, hey, this is where the rubber meets the road. One of the things that we're going to do is starting on Sunday evening, we're going to be doing a 3-day water fast. So you should have saw their jaws drop. They weren't expecting that. They were expecting a concoction of herbs and things like that to try to get their testosterone up. And I said, that ain't going to work unless you improve all the pathways first by making sure that your lifestyle is in order. So we kicked off on Sunday evening. We're kicking off with a 3-day water fast. So, and of course I'm participating as well. So I'm coming up on 24 hours, no food, water only. And I made the mistake of doing a very intense workout. So it was, so I'm a little bit drained right now, especially after a long day. I've been at the office for almost 12 hours. So I wanted to go over this specifically, okay? Let's go over what this is right here. So I know in the description I said, hey, the best mask is for you to have a healthy innate immune system response. So it's going to be the most effective thing. So just so you guys know, we all are equipped with an immune system. We all have an immune system. The thing is everyone has the ability to have a strong immune system, but not everybody's immune system is necessarily strong. So, but the thing is that it's not set in stone. It's not that, well, I have a weak immune system, there's nothing that I can do about it. There is absolutely things that you can do in order to help strengthen your immune system, guys. So, that this whole idea that, you know, everyone's got a weak immune system and we got to socially distance and we got to mask up and we got to stay away from everybody. That's not how it's supposed to work, guys. A virus always wins. Nature always wins. And so you have to be one with nature and not try to override it, not to try to defeat it. So the whole idea is viruses, they don't go away. In fact, the only way they're going to go away is that you have exposure, okay? Now, I do understand that there are people who have weakened immune systems, okay? I understand that. There's people with weakened immune systems. If you got any kind of blood sugar issues, you're going to have a weakened immune system. If you got any kind of autoimmunity, you're going to have a weakened immune system. If you have cancer, you're going to have a weakened immune system. And I understand it. You need to be protected as well. But we're going to show you whether you have cancer, whether you have autoimmunity. For kids, this is a test that every kid should get before they go to school. Here in Illinois, where I'm living, they say everyone's got to wear a mask. I don't agree with that. 100%. I don't agree with that. And it's not because I am a bad person. At least I don't think I am. It has nothing to do with me being belligerent. It's just understanding physiology, and you're doing way too much for something that has a very simple solution. So let's talk about the immune system. So not everybody has the same immune system. Like I said, things that you do, stressors, lifestyle, is going to bring that immune system down. But I'm going to show you a very important test that will let you know whether you have a strong immune system or whether you don't. Whether you should be afraid of any virus or whether you should know that I can get a virus, I'm going to have a great response, and I'm going to be able to handle it like we were created to be able to handle. We were created to overcome a virus. We were created to overcome a bacteria. We were created to overcome a fungus. We were created to overcome those things as long as we are having a healthy and a strong and a robust immune system response. So guys, the people who are really suffering when it comes to COVID-19 are the people whose immune systems were already in the tank. They already were in the tank. So whether it's COVID, whether it's the flu, whether it's, heck, when you look at people at the end of their lives, and people die, they are dying from viral infections. They're dying from bacterial infections, from viral infections. Because as a person start to lose health, they start to lose the health and the strength of their immune system, and they become susceptible to anything. Look at someone who dies at 85 or 90 years of age. Usually they're dying from some kind of infection. So it has to do with the health and the strength of their immune system. So why don't we work on helping to make immune systems strong again? I know that's Dr. Patrick's hashtag. It's a beautiful hashtag. Help make immune system, or make immune systems strong again. So I want to show you a really awesome test, and we've run this on a lot of people. And this is the Wellness Way Immune System Panel. Guys, we've run it on people who've had cancer in the past. We've run it, we just actually run it on a couple of young kids who had some concerns with their immune system and how their immune system was responding. I'm going to show you an example of actually a child who's 3 years of age, and she needed a lot of help. But this is a test that if you ask your doctor to do it, usually a lab will charge you $3,000 for. Our Wellness Way Immune System Panel, I think when you're going through our lab, it's like $200. So $200 to actually see how healthy, how strong your immune system response is. So when you look at this right here, this is measuring. So we actually do a whole entire blood panel. There's two parts of your immune system, guys. There's your innate immune system. So there's your innate immune system. This is what you are born with. So these are things like neutrophils. These are things like basophils, monocytes, eosinophils. This is your first reaction to any kind of foreign invader, bacterial, viral, fungal, food allergy. So these are the first lines of defense towards you starting to neutralize an infection as quickly as possible. So you want to get a good snapshot of your innate immune system response, but then also your adaptive immune system response, okay? I'm going to tell you this. Everybody right now is talking about antibodies, 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 and antibodies aren't the answer. And in fact, I'm going to show you how this young girl has a huge antibody response. But the reason why she's got a huge antibody response is because she's got a very poor innate immune system response. She's got to rely on those antibodies way too much. So you can go to the doctor and you can get a CBC with a differential. Okay, so it's called a CBC with differential. And I'll show you the different types of innate immune system responses. And you look at that and you go down and you see how well that immune system, that innate immune system is actually functioning. Now you may actually ask your doctor, well, what does this mean? And they'll only tell you that, well, it doesn't tell us anything. It just means you might be dealing with some kind of infection. And in fact, a lot of times they'll run these tests when someone is undergoing chemotherapy because they know that it's a very real possibility that chemotherapy will actually destroy these white blood cells. The reason why chemotherapy destroys white blood cells really quickly is because white blood cells has a very high metabolism, which means if there's a poison, they are going to take that up very quickly and it will kill those white blood cells very quickly. This is why they're always doing a CBC with people doing chemotherapy, because they have to make sure that this innate immune system is not tanking. So getting a CBC with the differential will help you to see how this innate immune system responses. But I want to take it a step further, because when you look at this is looking at two things. It's looking at part of the adaptive immune system, but it's also looking at an innate part of your innate and adaptive immune system called your natural killer cells. Okay, so the biggest thing when you're talking about this innate immune system, this is what's handling an infection and usually are hanging out at your barriers. This is why it's so important for your barriers to be healthy. What I mean by barriers are things like your stomach, things like your small intestinal lining, your large intestinal lining, your lung linings, the tonsils, the adenoids, the sinuses, anything with a mucous membrane, Those are considered barriers. That's where that innate immune system is actually hanging out. You got some kind of disruption in barriers, you're going to have a very poor innate immune system response. You're going to have to rely on the adaptive immune system, but it takes some time. It's going to take some time in order to ramp up antibody production and things like that. So having a healthy immune system response requires a strong innate immune system response, and also having a healthy, robust adaptive immune system response. So when you look at this is looking at a couple of different things. First thing that I want to show you is this. This is looking at natural killer cells. Natural killer cells, okay? What does this have to do with any kind of viral infection or cancer? So natural killer cells are cells, and they're made in the bone marrow. They mature in the thymus. They mature in specific lymph nodes and things like that. But natural killer cells have one purpose. And that one purpose that natural killer cells have is that they are the very first on site for destroying any cell that has been virally infected or a cancer cell. So you have a mask that's built in. You have a mask that's already built in as long as it's sufficient, as long as it's healthy, and these are called natural killer cells. These are the first things that come when you have a virus enters a cell, it becomes infected, the cell is going to release a little flag and say, hey, I'm infected, I need somebody to come in to take care of me. And what happens is these natural killer cells, they come and they will target and they will destroy any kind of cell that has any kind of virus. That's your first line of defense. They also are killing things like cancer cells. So they are suppressing tumors. And they are doing this all the time. All the time. They are doing this. What happens if the natural killer cells start to get low? What happens is then you allow for an infection, a viral infection, to persist. You allow it to replicate. You allow the cells continue to get infected. And this is why having a high amount of natural killer cells inside your body will help you get rid of a virus and you are asymptomatic. So why on earth in the United States are people with healthy natural killer cells and can get rid of a viral infection before they become symptomatic? Why are they the bad people? So when you say asymptomatic people, you can carry the virus and pass it on. Asymptomatic means you handle the infection before you start relying on the adaptive immune system. You handle it. That's how our immune system is supposed to work. So if you have a healthy amount of natural killer cells, if you have a healthy amount, you are an asymptomatic carrier. Why are you a bad guy? It means you are really healthy. So that natural killer cell is both an innate and adaptive response. So this is what is killing those cells. Now here's what happens. If you look at hers, there's another marker. It's called CD4 cells. These are called your CD4 helper T cells. This is another different type of lymphocyte. So this lymphocyte, called a CD4, is the helper cell. They're basically the general, and they're coordinating all of these different responses. They're secreting cytokines, inflammatory things that are messengers that are telling all these different cells to start to mobilize. It's absolutely fascinating. And so what they'll do, these CD4, is they'll release signals to tell these B lymphocytes to start secreting antibodies. They say, hey, we see this, we're having an infection that's going on, and one of our backup plans is to start to secrete antibodies in order to flag cells that are sick and infected. There also will flag specific antigens, and when you flag these antigens with antibodies or with a virus, it makes it too big for a virus or some kind of antigen to be able to enter into the cell. Isn't that fascinating? So that CD4 sends that messenger that says, hey, we need a coordinated attack. We need B lymphocytes to secrete these antibodies in order to neutralize these viruses so that they become too large to be able to enter into the cell. Isn't that amazing? So when you look at hers, you can see this, again, 3-year-old girl, how high the CD4 response is. Well, I want you to think about it. If she is not able to handle an infection immediately, a viral infection, she cannot kill a virus, then what happens is the virus proliferates, and now she's needing this CD4 response like never before in order to start secreting more and more antibodies, in order to start mobilizing all of these lymphocytes for all of these antibodies. And now she is heavily dependent on trying to neutralize this infection with antibodies. So you can see it's a very heavily dependent antibody response because she doesn't have that natural killer cells to destroy that initial infection. Okay? And then also another one that you're going to look at is you're going to look at CD8 cells. What are these CD8 cells? These are also called, they're also cytotoxic. They're called cytotoxic T cells. Here's what's amazing about cytotoxic T cells is that you got the natural killer cells, that's your first line of defense, start to secrete some antibodies in order to neutralize some things, and then you have also these CD8 cytotoxic T cells that are come along. If a natural killer cell happen to miss it, or it's just the infection starts to get out of control even more, then they come and they specifically are going to kill more cancer cells, and they're also going to be killing any cells that are virally infected. So you have a mask in place, and this mask is called your immune system. So you need a healthy innate immune system, you need a healthy adaptive immune system, and for her, she needs a healthier innate immune system. So why did her innate immune system get down? Why was it so low? Why did it get down? Well, this little girl has had specific chemicals put in her. She has had bad days when she is very young and had chemicals put in her, and by put in her I mean injected into her, and that caused all kinds of inflammatory reactions that destroyed her barriers, destroyed her gut barriers. And when you start destroying the gut barriers, this is one of the reasons why this poor little girl has 29 different food allergies. The reason why she's got 29 different food allergies is because her barriers have been destroyed, and that anytime she eats any kind of foods, those things are leaking through the gut. When they leak through the gut, then it requires an immune system response every single time. This is why. So those barriers get worn down. And then what happens is those things get worn down. How can you have a healthy, innate immune system response when the barriers inside your body continue to get destroyed? Guys, this is why this is so important, because yes, this can even happen as an adult. So if you have stress and you are damaging and not digesting your food the way you're supposed to, you're damaging your barriers. You have toxicity, guys. Ever heard of glyphosate? Glyphosate is Roundup. Guys, it's in corn, it's in soybeans, and it's in wheat. So it's in our water. It's everywhere. Guys, there's 65, I don't know, way more than 65 lawsuits right now. You can think about it. Lawsuits, they know for a fact that it causes lymphoma. Causes lymphoma, but it also destroys your barriers. It pokes holes in your small intestine and is allowing things to be able to leak through. Okay? So stress, glyphosate, tons of antibiotics, all of these things are destroying your barriers, and if your barriers are destroyed, you will never have a healthy innate immune system response. You're going to try to rely on the adaptive. You better hope that adaptive is strong, because it's going to have a very hard time trying to catch up with all of the infections that innate immune system can't take care of. Can't take care of it. So we're talking about today about how do we get antibodies? How do we get antibodies to COVID-19? Because a vaccine that's coming is going to rely on putting in a little bit of protein that resembles an inactivated virus into the bloodstream in order for the body to make antibodies to it, but that's not how it works. It doesn't work that way. You need a healthy innate immune system response in order to have a healthy adaptive immune system response. Antibodies are not the answer to immunity. And in fact, when we retest people with food allergies, if they avoid their food allergies for a whole entire year, you'll see they'll no longer make antibodies to it. They won't make antibodies anymore. And I remember telling a parent, I said, it goes to show you that if you don't make antibodies, that if you avoid it for a year, your immune system devours and eats up all those antibodies, and guess what? What if that was your child's measles vaccine? So if you don't have constant exposure to your external environment, and all you get is an antibody response, guess what? The immune system is going to eat up all those antibodies, which means that even after a year, you might have no protection at all. And in fact, most people right now are walking around, they have no protection to measles. They have no protection to pertussis. They have no protection to whatever that is. Because they said if you have a vaccine, they said you'll never have to you have lifelong immunity. And then they realized, whoops, actually we're just relying on antibody response, and you're going to need boosters, a lot of boosters for the rest of your life. It doesn't make a lot of sense. How do you have a nice, strong, robust, healthy immune system? Exposure. Keeping your barrier strong and feeding your immune system and keeping your stressors as low as possible. Physical, chemical, and mental. The more that you can do that, the more you can feed your immune system, the more you can have a healthy and robust immune system response. So guys, every single person needs this test. Every single person should be getting this test, especially when you got kids going back to school. So if you want to live in fear, then keep wearing a mask. Keep wearing it. Stay at home and keep living in fear, wondering whether I'm going to catch something or not. Or get your immune system tested. Get it tested and see what you need to work on in order for you to have a strong, healthy immune system response. So we've gotten our immune system response. My staff, we had a strong immune system response. They're all doing great. Why is it? Why don't we worry? Because we've been tested and we realize that we all have healthy, strong immune systems, and we're going to be doing just fine. So we take responsibility for our own health. But we're also doing this live video so that in order to help you take control of your own health as well. So make your immune system strong again. Make your immune system great again. Get a test in order to see how healthy and strong your immune system is. And you have some holes in your immune system, start figuring out what you need to do in order to rebuild the immune system, to rebuild sufficiency, and start working on your health. Guys, you've had 4 or 5 months to work on your immune system. And if you've been wearing a mask, you've been socially distancing, you've been staying at home, and you haven't been any kind of exposure whatsoever, I guarantee you, and you've been eating a bunch of junk food, your immune system isn't stronger. You've had 4 to 5 months to work on it. So now's your chance. Start working on your immune system. Make your immune system strong again. Make your immune system strong, but first you got to start actually testing it. All right, guys. Matt, how you doing? Teresa, thanks for joining us. Nancy, thanks you. Great topic. It is a good topic. Brenda, how are you doing? Kristen, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Carrie, how are you doing? Toby says I'm doing it. Can we have this test done at a Wellness Way office? Absolutely. In fact, you can get this test anywhere. So we've had some people who asked for a test down in Arkansas. So I wrote the script for it, and they went down to, and they were in Arkansas, so they had it done at a local hospital. I shudder to think what it costs. In fact, I asked them to say, hey, when you get your EOB, let me know what it costs. I'd like to see that, because some people say it's cost $35,000, $4,000. I've seen some $6,000 or $7,000 for this test. When you go through a Wellness Way office through our labs, I think it's $200. So it's actually cheaper than your copay than it would be if you actually ran it through your insurance. All right. So guys, this is a test. In fact, a lot of times you ask your doctor for this, they're going to look at you like you have a third eye, because this is actually a very common test that they run on people who have HIV. And so in HIV, they're always looking at CD4 cells. So the CD4 cells. With HIV, the CD4 cells are the ones that get destroyed. And these are the things that are coordinating the immune system response. It's putting everything in place and helping all of these different immune system reactions and responses to work the way that it's supposed to. So this is why they're always looking at CD4 and CD8 cells as well. So Nancy says, I had the Wellness Way immune system battle done. My absolute CD3, CD8 cells were low. Should you be worried? Depends on how low they actually are, okay? So absolute CD3 is actually your CD3 cells are your CD4 and 8 combined, okay? So if they're low, your CD3 is low, then what that means is your CD4 and your CD8 cells are combined. So then you got to start working on feeding that immune system depending on these different pathways. So talk to your Wellness Way doctor about that. Jennifer, how are you doing? Thanks for joining us. Cindy, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Toby says, seeing Dr. Andrew on Thursday. Dr. Andrew is awesome. You're going to be in good hands. Jocelyn, how are you doing? Jennifer, absolute CD3 plus cells. All right, so I think I just answered that question. The CD3 is when you take your CD4 cells, your helper CD4, and your CD8 cells, you combine them, the CD3, that's what that absolute number actually is. So it's just those things actually combined together. So hopefully that makes a lot of sense. All right. So guys, whether it's innate, whether it's adaptive, you can look at these and you can know exactly how you should be feeding your immune system. But I'm going to tell you this, is that you can feed the immune system, you can get that immune system up actually pretty quickly. But you got to make sure your lifestyle that's the most important thing, is lifestyle. Because I'm going to tell you, one of the things that can tank the immune system, just remember that can tank the immune system, is I'm going to tell you the people having the worst day are people who are having poor blood sugar control and or have very high levels of insulin. And you guys are going to know this is because people who have very high levels of insulin, they have very poor functioning immune systems. Insulin causes a bad day in so many different ways. Okay, so this is why for our Man Up event we said, your biggest issue is your insulin, and so what causes the spikes in insulin is going to be your stress and eating too much readily available sugar and alcohol and things like that. So I said you don't get to feed your testosterone. You don't get any shortcuts, even though you're asking for it. But what you have to do is you got to do a 3-day fast and going straight into 18-6 intermittent fasting. And I said the only thing you get for the next 4 weeks is meats and veggies. Some people may say, man, that sounds really hard. And I agree. It is hard. We're not going to sugarcoat it. This is exactly what you need to do, but I guarantee you if you can grind it out, it's going to be hard right now, but it's going to be a lot easier later. So this is what we need to do, guys, is choose your hard. So you can choose hard now and work on building your immune system, make it easier later, or you can make it really easy now. So just stay away from people, wear a mask and live in fear. That's the easy thing, and it's going to be much harder later on. So just choose your hard. That's all you have to do. So these men, they're choosing hard. They're choosing very hard. I told them it's going to be really hard. And we're going to next week start incorporating exercise, self-defense, awesome stuff. But if you're a guy and you are in the Man Up Challenge or Facebook group, give me a hello, because these are some awesome men that are just saying, hey, I'm all in. It's time for me to change. So guys, appreciate you guys joining us. Hope you have a happy Monday. And you notice I'm staying a little bit later at the office, and one of the reasons why is I can't eat tonight, so I'm at 24 hours right now, and I'm trying to just stay as busy as possible so that I don't go home and look at food, even if it's healthy for me. All right, so I'll keep you updated on the fast. Maybe on Wednesday I'll let you know how we did. But ladies, don't do it. Please don't fast. Not right now. All right. Especially if you are currently cycling. So I'll let you know how it goes on Thursday or Wednesday. All right. So Jennifer, this is for right now. This is just local. All right. So this is local, but if we have a lot of interest in it, it's something that we could work with Dr. Patrick and the Wellness Way. Maybe something that we could do as a challenge for one of our monthly challenges within the Wellness Way Challenge group. We'll see how it goes. We're kind of the beta testing group right now, but I think it's going to go really awesome. All right. This Saturday, they're going to be doing a workout with me, and we're going to show them how to work out. They're in for a real surprise. All right, guys, be well. I'm going to head home and stare at a bunch of food that I can't have. So I hope you guys have an awesome night. Be well. We will talk to you guys soon.